Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Newcastle United target 34-goal Alexander Isak replacement as Liverpool await transfer green light. Newcastle United are looking to sign a striker to replace the want-away Alexander Isak before the summer transfer window deadline on September 1st. Newcastle are set to push ahead with Yoane Wissa from Brentford ahead of their next Premier League match against Liverpool at St James Park. It's Liverpool who are looking to sign Isac this summer after the forward removed himself from the Newcastle first-team squad in pre-season in a bid to force through a move to Merseyside. While a Wissa deal could accelerate this coming week, the 28-year-old has been targeted as a replacement for Callum Wilson, who left Newcastle as a free agent earlier this summer. Following Saturday's 0-0 draw at Aston Villa, Newcastle head coach Eddie Howe said, "I think it's been my wish to get a striker and we needed to replace Callum most. I can't say that enough. It's not like we're looking at any other area. We've been looking to recruit a striker to replace Callum. Callum's a big miss, not just his playing ability, but his personality. So that's what we're looking to do. But a striker to potentially replace Isac is also a possibility. If Newcastle can agree such a transfer, it would pave the way for the Swede to leave and join Liverpool. As such, the Reds will be keeping a close eye on Newcastle's transfer business in the final couple of weeks of the window. The Gazette has launched a new WhatsApp NUFC channel to bring the latest news, analysis and team and injury updates directly to your phone. Simply click this link to join our NUFC WhatsApp channel. Newcastle United identify Alexander Isak replacement. After failing to land Hugo Ekitike and Benjamin Sesko so far this summer, Newcastle have reportedly turned to Paris Saint-Germain forward Goncalo Ramos as a potential striker target. As per the Daily Mail, Ramos is a player of interest to Newcastle, and PSG could be open to selling the Portuguese international. The 24-year-old recently scored a stoppage-time equalizer to help PSG win the UEFA Super Cup ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. The Magpies first registered an interest in Ramos during his days at Benfica before PSG swooped to sign the forward. Since arriving in France, Ramos has scored 34 goals in 88 appearances for the club. Despite Newcastle's interest, Ramos has strongly hinted he will be staying at PSG this season. Football is back. Subscribe to our Newcastle United newsletter for all the news straight to your inbox. Goncalo Ramos addresses PSG future. Following the Super Cup win over Spurs, Ramos said, "I'm ready when the team needs me. When I receive the ball like that, I score. Yes, I confirm that I am staying at PSG this season." Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our second news is full list of Liverpool transfer exits this summer as Arne Slot nears another $34 million boost. Liverpool has spent big on several players this summer, but Arne Slot, quite rightly, has been quick to point out the number of sales that have funded those moves. Though Liverpool has spent big on a variety of players this summer, breaking its transfer record to sign Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, the bottom line when the window closes will not be as large as some imagine. If Newcastle United relents on its not-for-sale stance on Alexander Isak, that will be another major addition for Liverpool. But even then, the Reds have sold well, and in high volume, over the last few weeks. There is a big difference between Liverpool and Feyenoord, Slot said on the Men in Blazers podcast when he was asked about the approach at Anfield since winning the league title. The difference is that at Feyenoord, there is a level above. There is no level above Liverpool, so at a club like Feyenoord, the players who perform really well make the next step in their career. They either go to the Premier League or to La Liga, or somewhere else. At a club like Liverpool, it is quite normal that players stay where they are. But I think people tend to forget at the moment. You mentioned $300 million spent, but people are forgetting how much money we brought in not only this summer, but also last summer. Last summer, we had a big plus. We earned more than we spent. This summer, people also forget that we have lost Kevin Kelleher, Jarell Quansah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, and the biggest tragedy of all was that Diogo Jota passed away. So many of them have played a lot of minutes for us that it is normal that we also need to spend. We have spent big compared to last season, but if you balance it up, what we did this summer and what we made last summer, then I think the balance is maybe almost equal. That is something that is quite rare in the Premier League. Normally, teams only spend and never sell. Trent Alexander-Arnold moved to Real Madrid a few weeks before his contract expired for a fee of around $13m/£10m. Jarell Quansah brought in around $47m/£35m including add-ons, Caoimhin Kelleher $24m/£18m, Tyler Morton $20m/£15m, Luis Diaz $89m/£66m, Nat Phillips $4m/£3m, and Darwin Núñez $62m/£46m. Liverpool's home and away strips for the 2025/26 season are the first in their new partnership with Adidas. Fans can order jerseys in the US at fanatics.com or via the LFC online store in both the US and across the world. Later this week, Ben Doak is expected to become the latest in a long line of players to have left Liverpool this summer. Bournemouth is set to pay around $34m/£25m for his signature. Once that deal goes through, and others including Harvey Elliott could yet inflate the number further, Liverpool will have brought in a total of around $259 million, £193 million. In players sold this summer. Don't miss subscribe for. Our last news is Liverpool transfer news. Alisson makes hard admission as Reds agree next summer move. Liverpool still have work to do with 2 weeks remaining of the transfer window and Alexander Isak and Mark Guéhi the main names being speculated over possible Anfield arrivals. The first Premier League match of the season is out of the way and just 2 more weeks of the transfer window remain. There's little sign of Liverpool slowing down their work. The Reds got their business underway at a rapid pace as they moved for Jeremy Frimpong and Trent Alexander-Arnold made his exit. Figures such as Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez followed as the spending ticked up towards £300 million at Anfield. There have been plenty of stars heading in the opposite direction too. Arne Slot has waved goodbye to Jarell Quansah, Tyler Morton and Caoimhin Kelleher among others to bring in funds. And talk of Alexander Isak still remains after he missed Newcastle's opening match. Liverpool meanwhile will still feel they need a defender amid links to Crystal Palace star Mark Guéhi. With that said, Mirror Football takes a look at the latest transfer news and rumours surrounding Anfield. Alisson believes that the difficulty of integrating so many new players in one go has been appreciated. Liverpool's transfer work has been lauded as they added talents such as Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong and Hugo Ekitike, but the Brazilian goalkeeper reckons it comes with a cost. I think it's hard, Alisson told NBC. Not many people talk about the changes we had in the team. Everybody said how good our team is becoming with new players coming in, but nobody talks about the challenge that this is. It is a big challenge. Last season we had the challenge of changing the manager, but you keep the players so you know each other, you just have to keep the same way of playing. The manager was smart in the way he did that and also implementing new things. It was easy for us to understand. I think for them to play, for Jeremy, for Flo, Wirtz, and for Hugo, playing for the first time in the Premier League, you have the physicality that's a little bit different, the intensity, he added. But they showed up so well. They played amazingly well. Of course with our help, but they showed that their qualities are at the standard of Liverpool FC. Ben Doak nears move. Liverpool and Bournemouth have agreed a £25 million deal for Ben Doak, with only the formalities remaining after the clubs came to some harmony over a fee this weekend. The Scotland international was absent from the team's Premier League season opener after a breakthrough in discussions and now a deal is all but done. The Cherries identified Doak as the ideal candidate to replace new Brentford star Dango Ouattara and Doni Iraola, per Liverpool Echo. Bournemouth fended off competition from Porto and Stuttgart to advance their deal after Doak impressed on loan at Middlesbrough last season. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.